Matters Black Media Group. We're going live today on Instagram. Simultaneously, we're on Restream Live at Urban Matters Black Media Group Studios. This is Dr. Juice, radio and TV. We are live now, and we got a lot of folks still emailing me trying to get in on the live. We're going to make it happen, Captain. So, hey, let's make sure we got our comment section going. We put our overlay up there, Professor. Can you see the comment section now? We're bringing it through now. All right, we got that live. Everything's going live. All right. Welcome again, family. And I am so happy that you guys had a gracious holiday. And I'm really excited, Professor. And I'm really excited for 2025. And I can't listen. I'm so excited, man, when it comes to 2025. And Professor, you want to introduce yourself for the 2025? I'm still getting my back office ready. So introduce yourself today, Professor. How's your weekend going after Christmas?
Can you hear me, Dr. Juice? How do I sound?
Absolutely, I can hear you.
Well, so I never forget where I'm from, and want to toast to the 3Ds, across the highway, hometown folks. It's an honor that you have me here. Y'all know who I am. I'm your professor, your favorite professor.
We have our own in-house technological AI professor. He is skilled, reskilled. He has all types of international education, and we just love when he come here. So, Professor, let me run it real quick, and we're gonna make this thing pop off like it needs to pop off. Thank you again for joining us here at Urban Matter. All right. Yes, sir, man. I love it, man. I love that intro, man. That is beautiful. All right, we got a professor back in the building. And Professor, enlighten us. How was your holidays? I hope you had season's greetings, and I hope everything was popping for you, man. And we just want to thank you again for joining us, Professor. And we do appreciate your knowledge. We appreciate your education. We appreciate your education back into this platform. Thus, we will definitely invest it into the community. And this is our little digital community here, Professor. And we want to thank you for all your encouragement. And men need to see this, They need to see men demonstrating with technology, information, skills. And I'm really hyped tonight, man. Let me calm down. Professor. All right, Professor. Welcome again.
Yes, sir.
Chop it up for us real quick.
Well, I'm looking at your screen. Your text has my photo blocked, so let's see if you can make that.
Okay, well, we can. Technology allows us to shift it around. We can shift it around. We can play with it. We can blow the screen up. We can shift screens. Watch this here, Professor. Let me show you how this technology works, man. We can change the view.
All right.
We can do like that. We can let's see. Let's change some stuff up. I tell you what, we'll hide that.
Right.
Then we'll change the view. We'll change the view up, and we're gonna blow it up, man. I love technology, man. I love it. We can do that. Oh, let's get you like this. This is why I like to get you right here. And so we're gonna put you right there. All right, go ahead, Professor.
Well, it's just such a joy and honor that you would even have me here and you recognize the importance of education and the fact that you are a passionate grassroots leader. Uh, I'm just so honored that I'm able to give back and to also share my intellectual property in an effort to make social change in a place that I was born and raised, a place that I'm obviously proud to be from. And I want to make a difference in being able to collaborate with you and just see all the feedback and all the people that you've introduced me to uh, that's from my hometown and they see the value in what you're doing and they have a thirst for it. They have a real thirst for uh, the media and the content that you're
Yes,
publishing.
sir.
I'm just so proud to be a part of it, and I'm willing to continue my investment until my last breath. And even after that, there'll be holograms of me still doing the same thing. So I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here.
Absolutely, Professor. Absolutely. I'm just sending out some more invites. Go ahead. Keep elaborating, Professor. Let
So,
me hurry quick. Sorry about that, family.
that's what professors do is pontificate, in which I have no problem doing because we talk a lot, obviously, and we don't get a chance to talk as much in public. But the whole recent conversations that we've been having about how do we empower ourselves, how do we make change within our families, how do we make change within how we're educated, and then how do we empower ourselves, and more importantly, in these current changes, how do we reskill ourselves to thrive, not just survive, but thrive in a global economy? How
Yes,
do
sir.
we how do we begin to have high level conversations? And you can see
Yes,
here's where
sir.
the data was in at, right? You can measure conversations. You can measure conversations and discover whether they're high level or low level, right? And you can simply use one factor into that. Here's a factor that you can use in determining whether you're having a high level or a low level conversation. It's a real simple formula. The question you have to ask is this conversation constructive? Simple question. And how do you know if the conversation is constructive? That's because you're producing some sort of value as a result
Yes,
of
sir.
that high level conversation.
Yes, sir.
Are you having high level
Yes,
conversations in your
sir.
family environment? Right? Are you are you having conversations that are inspiring to each other? Or are you having conversations to what I call uh, psychologically attack people that you're supposed to be close to?
Yes,
And I
sir.
think
Yes,
I mean
sir.
we can go on and on and on. You can just stop me when you want me to stop lecturing because see, here's the other
Keep
thing that
going,
I
Professor. Keep
well,
going. We're loving
well,
it.
we talked about
I told you I was gonna let you start the high level conversation,
okay,
and these
all right,
high level conversations have to be had, especially
okay,
from a male perspective in the Black community. And we need to hear leaders like you. And people can call it what they want. They can call it outspoken. They can talk. They can call it an intellect. They can call it whatever they want. But the thing about it, we are here for a purpose, and the
okay,
purpose of this platform is to keep our community informed
all right,
and control the narrative, the Black narrative. Absolutely.
yeah,
So we're doing what the HBCs you don't want to do. We're doing what the churches can't do. We're challenging the indoctrinations of our so-called black leadership community.
I second that motion. And again, you know, um, I would imagine I would be considered to be an unorthodox type of professor, just like I guess they have unorthodox churches. D said he's on the way. We'll let D talk about unorthodox churches, but I'm an unorthodox professor in the sense that I've taught in America over 20, 25 years, right? On the college level. And based on that experience, I found that I subscribe to a different methodology when it comes to education, especially when it comes to educating black people. And here's why. Black people in America, foundational black people, we have a very unique experience in this country that's totally different than any other group. That's why I don't do all, because all don't have our history. And our history get diluted, as you would say, with all the tethering that you like to talk about, with the delineation that needs to be done. So I get that. I get that. And I believe that, our
Keep going,
history.
Professor. I'm gonna have to take a bathroom break. Keep going. All right.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I keep going. We having a party tonight. I have my it's the holidays. So I have my deer jerky. I have a client that they do deer jerky. So we're having a party. So I'll just kind of chew on a little deer jerky and,
Yes,
and let
sir.
some folks, right? And what do you want me to talk about? I guess he's gone, but I know what you want me to talk about. You want me to talk about how do we empower ourselves and how do we get on code with the idea of group economics? Because when you look at the data, when you look at what's going on, when you look at the digital transformation that is taking place, I mean, you would have to ask yourself, what is the economical impact that it's going to have on me? And of course, he likes for me to talk about technology and what impact will technology is going to have on us. I can talk about that right quick about the fact that we're in the third revolution of AI development. Third revolution, right? And the revolution that we are in right now is called agentic technology. And what does that mean? I'll try to make it real simple for you, right? The first and second generation of AI, as a user, you basically had to tell AI what it is that you want to do, and AI would perform that task. They call that prompt engineering. Well, now in this third AI revolution, in this agentic technology, it's smart enough to understand and predict what it is that you need it to do. And it'll do that when you sleep. Now, what does that mean to the workforce? What does that mean to businesses? Well, what it means now is that in understanding AI and understanding that AI now can handle repetitive tasks, repetitive administrative tasks, right? I talked about digital robots, and I've been talking about digital robots for a very long time. Well, that's all an agent is. It's a digital robot, and it handles those routine tasks. Think about customer service. Think about now when you call customer service, you have to talk to a robot before you can talk to a human being, if in fact you can talk to a human being. Because that digital robot now is handling the routine task of telling what your balance might be, finding out whether or not you want to pay a bill. That's a digital robot. So what does that have to do with black people? Well, when you look at the data in terms of the jobs that we hold right now, I posted that on my site. Right, I posted
Yes, sir.
I posted the top jobs that the here we go. I got it right here. Data. The industries that hire more HBCU grads than last year. Consumers. Number one is consumer
Pull that
services.
up, Professor. Share that
Oh,
screen with us.
you want me to do that? All right.
Yeah.
I love lecturing, bro. That's what you want me to do, and I think you wanted me to do that. Hold on. All right. That's on my Facebook right there. Well, let me. Can you see my screen? How about that?
Yes, sir. We got it up now.
Right. So the data, and I always speak from a data perspective as well, as you well know, and as you always like to appreciate. So here's some data that came from LinkedIn because the question was some time ago. I think you asked me this. You asked me, where are the HBCUs in
The
terms
8 industries that are hired by more HBCU grads last year. What
right?
industries are those, Professor? If you want to go over those real quick with us, the top
Well,
eight.
you go ahead. You read that, and I'm gonna follow up. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. We have ranking, industry, and year over year growth in median monthly hiring in the data sets. So, number one, consumer services at 30.9%. And number two is education at 28.0%. Three, arts and recreation at 26.2%. And again, family, we're talking about the 8 industries that are most hired from the HBCU grads last year. So we're saying this is where the concentration of HBCU grads are seeking employment and attaining employment. So number four, hospitals and healthcare, 25.3%. Uh, Number five is government administration jobs, 23.8% is that percentage of government administration. And in financial services, we have 8.2, which I think that needs to be definitely higher. But hey, if we don't have skilled financial services graduates, then that percentage can't be higher. That's probably where that percentage should be at. Number seven is technology, information, and media. Oh man, this is what's really hurting us. 0.6%, Professor. 0.6%. And number eight, professional services, 0.1% professional services. Now, elaborate on that professional services for us, Professor. Can you give us a defined definition of what types of jobs are professional services and what does that mean? 0.1%.
Sure. Let me do. Let me just pull up. Can you see my? Yeah, you can see my screen. I want to do it in
Yes,
Google.
sir.
Hold
We can see everything you're doing right now because you got your screen on.
on. All right.
We can see everything that you're doing. You have your screen live now. I just want to say what's up to the Instagram family. If you're joining us, you can also join us on Facebook Live, family. So go and check us out. We're trying to stream simultaneously. We're just doing some research right now, and usually I can go live with the Instagram, but I wanted to get another camera shot, so I'm giving you another camera shot of the studio. Hey, can y'all see my little smart robot in the background right here? I bought this little smart robot back here for my grandbabies. I have two of them and they are smart robots. They are AI robots, and they can teach them different lessons, Spanish. They can teach all different things. I thought I'd do something different with Christmas this year. I thought about getting them. I said I'm gonna get them digital tools, something that can make them make money when they get older. You know, start their own businesses. So we're trying some different things over here at Urban Matters Black Media Group
I'm
headquarters.
I'm proud. I'm proud of that, Dr. Juice. All these worthless toys that they buy from Walmart. But let me answer your question about professional services. So, I used to work for KPMG. That's one of the
Mhm.
reasons why I'm passionate about supporting you because
Mhm.
uh, people with that kind of training, uh, that there's only 4 companies like that in the world. But I want you to read right here under KPMG. What type of industry is that?
KPMG. KPMG is a multinational professional services network and one of the big four accounting organizations, along with Ernest and Young. EY is the abbreviation, or Deloitte and PwC.
Let me
The
help
name
you with something.
KPMG.
Hold on. Let me help you with something I had to learn pronunciation.
Okay.
Right? They didn't misspell that. It's not Ernest and Young. It's Ernst Young, and I had to
Ernst
learn
and
that.
Young. Okay.
No, not
Ernst
Ernst.
Young.
Nope, nope. Just look at it. It's Ernst.
That's what I said. Ernst and Young. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Right. Not the first time, but when you corrected me, I did say that.
Yeah. Well, I
All
had to
right, we
admit
got
I'm
Minister
all
Goodbar in the building. I finally put the dice down, Mr. Goodbar says. Thank you for putting them dice down. Because Mr. Goodbar, we trying to get you some cash. We ain't trying to have you blow your cash. Again, Instagram family, tune in. Join us at Facebook Live if you want to get some more of this content. All
So
righty.
you
And we're
asked,
also live on YouTube. Y'all go check us out, Urban Matters BMG. Urban Matters BMG at YouTube, Black Media Group. Y'all join us live. See if we can pull technology, man. We got technology everywhere. I got technology in the back of me, technology on the side of me. Technology, man. AI tools and products. We loving it.
so do you see the other slide that we're back on? You was asking me about number 8 on the bottom.
Yeah, Professor Noel. So we back. Let me play something real quick too, Professor, for the family, so I can
Good.
kind of tune them in to what the topic today is going to be about today. And we want to talk about some stuff that's going on in the government. And politicians are very shocked right now when it comes to having skilled Americans ready for the job and manufacturing atmosphere that's going to get ready to take place in America, and that's general. And Professor, what was that new we learned about today earlier? AI product?
Oh, you were talking about agentic.
Agentic. Spell that for us. While I get this slide ready.
It's AGENTIC.
Correct. AI is here, man, and we have to master this. Mr. Goodbar says, just to inform anyone, they put a halt on the BOI for all business owners. What? You got to inform us a little bit more on that, Mr. Goodbar. Who put a halt and define BOI for the family that does not know what BOI is? While I get this slide ready, Mr. Goodbar, if you're still in the comment section. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen here. All right, I'm going to share it right now. We got to hear this. Minister Goodbar, come on back in here and give us some more information. I'm getting the slide ready to prepare, and I'm going to run it right now. Y'all check it out.
That there's a problem with high-packed sales in the United States. His solution is to immigrate more people, and that has helped the house with a lot of people on the right in Trump coalition. Trump, he had the idea of cracking down on immigration and also building American workers.
Right. And I think this issue, like so many guys we're going to see next year, really illustrates the gap between these two blocks in Trump coalition. I would put Packer and Wall Streeters in corner, and I'd focus on the other corner. There is going to be this position.
That's terrible, really. That's terrible, really.
Hey, but do you see how CNN always trying to make everything out of the divisive angle? Just tell the truth. it's not gonna be just Trump supporters and MAGA supporters suffering. You're gonna have suffering across the freaking whole nation, the whole country, if we don't get on board with this generative AI.
Yeah, that video was lagging pretty
Middle
bad.
cracked in on immigration. Secure border, the things a lot of people are for, and also make it easier for high.
Is it still lagging, Professor?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay. They may be shadow banning me. Let's see if it gets better.
The immigrants. And the fact of the matter is, folks on the side would say, there are a lot of labor shortages are actually the biggest problem to growth, productivity, the country, and that is going to require migration. It's always been America's benefit, at the Europe world. A lot of other countries, why we have had that growth.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not good.
Can you hear the audio?
The audio is terrible.
Let's see. How about now? Hold on.
Why has been on the run? So these kind of immigrants talk about this. They're also talking about what it's going to take to bring American workers to these jobs, whether it's
No, it's terrible.
skill levels, et cetera, because I just don't want the opportunity to be how do you think it is?
This, I think, is one of the biggest issues we have to tackle in this time.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yes,
It's all terrible.
To secure the border needs a massive influx of illegal immigration. But the fact is, we have a population decline in this country. We have a workforce shortage.
It's terrible.
We have shortage of doctors.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Wasn't
I'm sorry?
too good, huh?
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be your bandwidth as well. It could be the server that it's coming off of, unless you save that. So you have those things.
Right.
Yeah, you have those things. Bandwidth is always a challenge. Everybody's going after different speeds. Everybody's paying for different speeds.
Yeah, that's crazy because I pay for the top speed. I got like business Wi-Fi.
Is that Spectrum you have down there in Florida?
Right. What I do, we have Spectrum and Comcast. Xfinity, they call it. But I don't have the Xfinity. I have the old Time Warner broadband. What they call it? It's Spectrum, but it's the old Time Warner.
I see. And are they? So is it digital? Or is it cable?
Yes, cable.
Yeah, because Comcast have cable. I hate them, but they in my opinion, I like cable better than I do the telephone side of it. The DSL and all that.
Right. Let's see what Mr. Minister Goodboss, he's giving us an update on that BOI. In other words, it's e-filing alert. I guess filing for taxes, right? Am I right, Mr. Goodbar? Please note that the beneficial ownership information reporting requirements have been affected by a recent federal court order. The Department of Treasury is appealing that order. In the meantime, reporting companies are not currently required to file a BOI and are not subject to liability if they fail to do so while the applicable order remains in force. However, reporting companies may still opt to file a BOI. Thank you for that update. We're going to have to let you come in and give us some more insight on that, Mr. Goodbar. Okay, Professor, let's continue.
How can I help you?
So, Professor, we're getting a lot of information on a lot of basically law officials are panicking now because a lot of our legislative officials are saying that Elon Musk and Ramaswamy are trying to counter or go against Trump immigration crackdown. Now, tell me, what does immigration and technology have in common? Why are they correlating immigration and technology, or reskilled individuals, as they might say, that are educated in technology? What's the big uproar?
Well, when people think about migrants, the narrative is focused on the people at the southern borders, the Hispanics, immigrants, the immigrants that come from Venezuela, and the ones that are in the agriculture industry. But you never think about the immigrants that come in and work in the technology fields. So which one do you want me to talk about?
We just want more insight on why the federal government and federal leadership officials are so, as I might say, got a bug in their ass about people and American citizens being or having enough education and skills to address the technology demands that are taking place now in America. And Mr. Goodbar says, in other words, it's effect on he say that BOI, in other words, it is an effect to crack down on these PPP loan fraudsters. Okay,
So those,
we'll have to let you do a whole show on that, Mr. Goodbar, because I know a lot of people probably interested in that subject.
all right. So I'm gonna stay focused on what you're asking me. So you were asking me, why is the conversation so complex with immigration on the technology side, and why
Absolutely.
are the what we would call the foundational mega people? So you got two factions in the Trump world, right? You got your mega folks, and then you got your technology folks who jumped in on the Republican bandwagon because they understand data and they saw Trump was going to win, so they hopped on that boat. So you got two different philosophical views in that organization. You still with me?
Yes, sir.
So the traditional mega folks don't have the same level of education as the immigrants, the technology immigrants who are doing the technology work. And let me tell you why. So when you look at the vast majority, and here's the sad part about it, when you look at the vast majority of the majority, they are incompetent in the sense that they've always been entitled to opportunity. You know what I'm saying? They know that they have the resources. They're gonna take care of their own. Rightly so. It's always been like that. But now that we live in a global economy and we've opened up not only the physical borders but also the digital borders, the competition in the global market is different. In other words, I've taught at white schools. The last school that I taught in America was at a white school, and those kids, they thought they were entitled. That's why I hate teaching in America. For a black man, think about this for a minute, Dr. Juice. Imagine this: a black man telling an entitled white child that, bruh, you are not a Rhodes Scholar and your English is horrible. That's an insult to them. They don't. They're not going to recognize me as an academic in that way. I've and I understand that. I've been through that. So because they feel entitled, then they believe that they don't have to put in the work because I'm gonna get it anyway. So now we're in a technology revolution that requires some knowledge. I mean, I've talked about this before where
So give us an example of a field of expertise or a industry where I might say where Black Americans or just Americans in general have to compete with these skills. Give us
I just
something
had
that's
no.
in demand.
Let's put it. Let me share my screen again. We were just talking about it. You want to see it again? I don't. I mean, here we go. I mean, think
Because I
about.
mean, we got to make this crystal clear to the family. I think a lot of our people think that they are exempt from this information that you're discussing, Professor.
All right, you can put. We'll go back. We'll go back to the chart again, Doctor Juice. You pull it up. So there you go. And why? Look, listen to this. Why is consumer services number one? You want me to give you an answer to that?
So give me an example of just one consumer service that a lot of us happen to depend on in the Black community.
Retail.
So you're telling me Dillard's, Louis Vuitton, you're talking about service, those type of services, Walmart.
If black folks can't, if they can't eat it, drive it, or wear it, they're not interested. That's why it's
Okay,
number one.
so let's move to number two, education. Give me one quick example, real quick.
Well, we are
And
in
again,
the school.
family, these are industries that are hiring most of our HBCU grads. And this was last year. This information is from last year. So we got people on HBCU level, graduate level, getting these jobs. And these are the most industries that are hiring these people. So the next question we got to move to, Professor, is what types of salaries are these people getting for these consumer services jobs, these educational jobs, these arts and recreation jobs, these hospital healthcare jobs, these government administration jobs, these financial services, technology, professional services. What are the salaries? So we're going to put some data together to show you, family, the type of salaries that HBCU grads, graduate level, college, university, and this will explain why Black America is a permanent underclass.
Well, let me help you with something. The high, I can give you a formula right now that you'll like. The highest salaries are at the bottom of this chart,
Absolutely.
and the lower
So,
salaries are on top. Think about it. I just showed you KPMG,
yep.
and look at the percentage. You know, it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard for a black person of any sort to work at the fourth largest financial service company in the world. That's big. I wave that flag all the time. I'm proud of the fact that I had the opportunity, and my hard work in my education allowed me to say that I worked for the fourth largest corporation. That's why I'm so passionate about bringing that skill set back to you, Dr. Juice. But that's while it's number 8 for black folks in terms of salary. If you look up salary, I promise you, working for the fourth largest financial services in the world, that's a pretty high salary, Dr. Juice. And then if you look at technology, if you look at, you've been asking me about AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and people getting paid, bro. So just flip. So if you want to look at it, just flip it around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like I say, the professor and I, we have these high level conversations a lot, and the professor know we have these conversations so much. We have our significant others wondering what the hell we talking about. And that's going to be another conversation right there. I know Professor want to elaborate on that a little bit, but that's going to be a later conversation here at Black Media Network. And what we're trying to do, I just got to make this apparently clear, Professor. Family. If the professor and I was on here talking about Atlanta, damn Falcons and Buccaneers, and right now we'll have numbers through the roof right now. We'll have so many comments. But it takes somebody with genius and somebody, and I'm not crapping on nobody. I'm not saying that you don't have intellectual, intellect or any of that. I'm just saying the proof is in the pudding. And we are just trying to challenge us here because what's coming, we can't blame it on Joe Biden. We can't blame it on Trump. We can't keep pointing the finger for the lack of whatever that's going on in our community. We're going to have to stand up and take some accountability. Professor, I know you like to always talk about accountability. You always are saying of how we should be accountable for our community and the conditions in our community. You want to elaborate on that real quick, Professor? Give us 2-3 minutes.
Well, that one of the things that I specialize is in governance from a technology perspective, but it's also a broad part of my work as a scholar because now, I deal with law enforcement governance. Governance simply is being able to regulate yourself, being able to discipline yourself in a constructive fashion. And that's one of the things that we're lacking. Being able to govern ourselves. There was a time where we did that. In fact, I personally never ever remember the Lake Wales Police Department coming down on Lincoln Avenue for any incident. Other than doing segregation, they used to come down there and harass black people. But I don't remember any type of incidents. And now I've lost count of the homicides that you've had just in 2024. So what that suggests to me or anybody that understands data is that you don't know how to govern yourself. You don't know how to discipline yourself. When I look at
Professor, you always say data.
right,
Why should Black Americans be concerned about data? And how can we impact our communities with data? Data, data, data. I'm hearing this all over the place. Data, 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 data. Who cares, Professor? Why should we care about data?
because decisions are being made on you based on the data. For instance, in your hometown, based on the data, you are described as a low income, cost burden resident. And they base that on we had, I think the last time we talked about how uh, black people represent 20% of the poverty in Lake Wales, and 20% uh, of the population are black people. So there got to be some sort of correlation to that, right? So
Right.
they took all of that. They took all of that information, and they made a decision on what they're going to do with your lives, which you had no control over. They're going to close some of the projects down there because you don't pay property taxes, right? So they made a decision
They're
to
in the
kick you
process
out.
of doing that right now, too, as we
Right.
speak, kicking people out of the
Well,
projects. Grove,
but so imagine,
Grove Manor, they call it.
yeah. So they use that data. They use that data to tell you got to go somewhere else. So if you don't understand data and if you don't control your own data, if you don't develop your own data, I mean, think about it. How many researchers do you have in your community, Dr. Juice? How many?
One.
One?
Yep.
All right.
Urban Matters Black Media Group.
Well, that's a start, but we don't recognize or even understand the value of researchers in our community. You didn't even think about it. You took that L without they just took it from you because there was no opposition. You didn't have any data to argue about. You didn't have any data to dispute them saying that you were low income, cost burden residents. You didn't fight back. You couldn't. So that's why it's important. And guess what? Other decisions are going to be made in your community, and you're going to be helpless. And I would surmise that based on the research that I've done, I constantly research down there. Unfortunately, based on all of the transformations that's going to take place, and you can watch this, your poverty rate is going to go higher. So here's another reason why data is important.
Wow.
Data can also help you identify problems in your community, which you got a million of, and come up with solutions to solve those problems. Data can do that for you. But the Holy Ghost won't let them do it.
Won't let them do it.
Won't let them do it. They'd rather listen to these functional illiterate, egotistical pastors and bishops and whatever they call themselves, who are not providing any type of leadership. It's sad.
So Professor, how can we engage folks? What type of content do you think our people are intrigued about? Like, how can we engage them more? Like, what is going to get their attention? How can we make them get serious about being a substantive force in America?
Let me put it to you this way, and this is what I believe, okay? Everything that appears to be successful for me came out of some sort of adversity. And I don't believe that based on the data again and based on even the qualitative data on how Black people have behaved since integration started, I believe that the only way black people is going to make a change is through adversity. I don't believe that they would do it on their own.
I'm telling you, man, listen, I have a lot of young folks get in touch with me, Professor. A lot of young folks, and it's like they're almost hesitant and scared to admit that they listen to this underground content that we put out here at Urban Matters Black Media Group. And it's like it's almost a taboo of some sort to say that. I have listeners come to me all the time, Juice, hey man, I be checking out, man. But man, I got my old lady, a white girl, so I can't really be too open with it. Or they might say, well, Juice, man, look, man, I got this high level corporate job, man, and I be checking your stuff out, man. You be on fire, dog. You firing it up. But listen, man, I can't get fired, man, because my boss, man, is like my master on the plantation. He ain't gonna just let me just come out there and get too intelligent with things. I got to play the dumb Negro. And then I have women all the time say, yeah, Truth, hey man, you fine, man. But my dude, he'll assemble. And he ain't gonna let me, he ain't gonna let me talk too black in the house because he say that it's not a good look. for us on a religious level. So, so my question is, Professor, how do I get people to understand that this is a safe space for them, and we are diligently trying to come up with real solutions and economic change. They don't understand economics, man. This is an economic platform we own, and that's how you determine your status. I think a lot of our folks think because they part of this worthless Negro leadership group that give them status, or they part of this Boule group, or they part of the Divine Nine. I'm an Alpha. I'm a AKA. They think that they winning. How do we get through to them to let them know your economic position is what gives you status in America? Why are we the only ones that don't understand that, Professor, in the black community? The black community, the only one don't understand that. Why?
Because black ignorance is $1 billion business. Black ignorance is $1 billion business.
But
That's
why
why.
they don't want to come on, Professor? Why they don't want to give their comment? Just come in and give a comment. Give us some feedback, because what we do here, as the professor explained, we gather research, we collect data, we collect research, and we need your insight. And by the way, family, I will be down there. We will have a booth down on MLK Day. We'll be down there on MLK Day, and we'll be collecting data, and we're going to be giving out free refreshments. We're going to be giving out free tutorials, free
Right.
information, free data. Brother D, what's going on?
Uh-huh.
And we're going to be on Lincoln Avenue here in Lake Wells, Florida, on the MLK Day Parade, and we will make sure you guys bump in and join us. And we're going to be going live the entire. We're going to be live, and we're going to be giving out all types of refreshments and free and prizes for free. And we're going to have a contest on who can give us the best answers on the surveys that we'll be initializing, and we will be collecting data. And the reason why we collect data, family, you know how sometimes you go on the website and it says da 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 da. Do you want us to collect your cookies? And you hear cookies and you get all excited. Well, what they're saying is, hey, we're taking your data, we're gonna monetize it, we're gonna make money on your asses, and you say yes. You say yes with so much love and so much appreciation. You say yes. Juice and the professor and Bruh D and Urban Matters Bike Media Group want to collect your data and collect your cookies. You don't want to share your cookies. Why is that so, Professor?
It's because we have been conditioned into this self-salvation mindset. I'm going to say, my soul, oh Lord, my soul. And with that type of condition or conditioning, it's not inclusive. The only way it became inclusive is when you were forced into it. It goes back to the adversity. To make the social change that you so desire, I believe that Black people will be forced into it. And I believe that even in this new revolution that we're in, you have to study the technological revolutions that we've been through historically and how it's impacted Black people and how we've responded to it and not responded to it. So the reason why, you know why this is the greatest technological revolution ever, is because it it replicates intelligence. We've never had anything in terms of technology that replicated intelligence. We've had technology that replicated manual labor. You know, it replicated manual processes. We had the we had the robots in the manufacturing industry environment, but society has never had a tool that replicates intelligence. And that's the big change. That's the whole big change that you need to be concerned about the impact. What's going on, bro? D, I ain't seen you in a while. A minute, bro. What's going on?
Hey, I finally made it in.
Boy, it's always a hustle, isn't it?
Every day.
Wow. What the war look like out there? You just made it in. What the war look like?
Well, you know that rain coming in over here now, so the storm, and you know the course Sundays are going to be terrible. So we try to get everything taken care of for tomorrow hit.
Yeah, I changed the oil in my generator, and the client, she boy, you better come through soon. They dropped that deer jerky off, and I
Oh no.
yeah, man. He had a problem having Dr. Juice. He pulled me in. I said, well, no, I don't have a problem showing up as long as you don't mind me, drinking my ginger ale and apple crown and eating a little deer jerky. Yeah, man. That storm. And see, speaking of the storm, that's the sort of thing that I guess these families need to understand when we have these conversations. It's about readiness. It's about readiness, and I believe we like that across the board in our community. You got to be ready. When they talk about, I don't know how they said the wind's going to be blowing pretty high. So I know that, okay, if they talk about high winds and a rough storm, I sit up here on the mountain. I know I need to make sure that I'm ready. I need to know that my power could be out, for 8 hours. I don't know. I don't know what I might have to invoke Voss power.
Right. It's the same thing with people up everywhere now. They can't afford their living condition right now, and those jobs which they thought they had, they're not career jobs. And one thing, they are not telling them that you're on a contract. So you might get hired just for a contract for 2 years, and they're not telling them that it's a contract. And they think moving to Atlanta that they're somewhere permanent, and they don't understand. Atlanta tricked people, and the people that live in Atlanta, they understand that. And so more people move to Atlanta, they just don't understand. They under contract, and those contracting in 2 years, 15, um, and those houses that they bought, they can't afford them anymore. So it's a lot of people out here crying, and they're not prepared for that.
Especially from my home state, I hate to see people and parents allow their children to move up here without any type of guidance, with any type of foundation, because the movies are great, the YouTubes are great, the party, the rap scene, but you got to be ready to be in a place like Atlanta, even more so than ever. It's sad to see the struggle. The ones that are trying to live that life. Now seeing the new Atlanta, you're exactly right. I think all over the place, but more especially where Buckhead, Buckhood, and Brookhaven, those apartments over there, they average $2,500 to $3,000 a month. Is that not true?
That's true. And so now the majority of the people, they live in McDonald. And McDonald, Georgia is basis the new Atlanta right now.
And how far south is that from Atlanta, would you say?
At least about 35 or 40 miles.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, well, Atlanta, um, I've watched Atlanta go through a lot of changes, and I guess the leadership has decided to let downtown be a somewhat of a homeless shelter.
Right. And the Atlanta infrastructure is so old. Um, it, it can't, it barely can handle the new growth. And so that's another issue. You remember the roads were closed so long. They
Well, how
had
about
that, they
how about
had
that
that leak.
water? How about
Yeah, the
that water?
water, old infrastructure, old bridges.
Well, one thing I do like about the growth in Atlanta is that they seem to be addressing some of that with all the new developments that's taking place. I'm happy to see that, but there are growing pains, bro. There are growing pains. We are going through growing pains. I'm just happy that, as you would say, that we've grandfathered in, and now, it's all about making money and living a quality life, high quality life. And I would live nowhere else because we have the highest black middle class, second to Prince George County in Maryland, but we have the second largest black middle class, and that's how we're able to uh, thrive in our businesses because we have probably more black entrepreneurs and businesses than anywhere in the country, you know. And I'm I would imagine that's why so many people from everywhere, so many black people seem to want to move here without the understanding that this place is a highly, highly, highly competitive environment, business environment.
And one thing I've been sending over talking about lately is back in the day when we was younger, we didn't understand about Bro Rabbit, and so Walt Disney they took Bro Rabbit, and of course they came out a lot of stories with that, and
I saw I saw something in the news about that today. What was that? Yeah, what the hell is about the rabbit?
well, Bro Rabbit is folklore that we came up back in the day of how to um, almost to do a trick on your masters. And so it's another coding system that we came up with. And Bro Rabbit's Brother Rabbit, you know, short Bro Rabbit. So it's another coding system that we came up with. And we told the story to our children. It was nothing on paper or anything. We told the story. And so of course, uh, Caucasian, they came and listened to the story and they started making money off our stories. So that's when you get the sounds. What's that musical uh, sounds of song that that black guy did dippity doo dah dippity doo day. You remember that
Right,
song? Yeah, all that. See, we sitting back, we didn't know where that came from, but that
correct.
came from our fathers, mothers out there in the field. And so the bro rabbit is you got to slick the fox and you got to slick the bear. And so that's why you see the fox and the bear. And so, when you start back looking at these things again, and you're starting to see how our people was able to work through a society under our own code. And see, right now, we don't have our own coding system no more. They they infiltrated and they learn our coding system. And so when we communicate, they know more about us than we know about our own self. And that's a bad situation. In that way, they got total control. So they're just like you thinking that the fire department and police department came up with their own coding. No, we had our own coding system. We came up with the coding system.
And that's what me and the professor have been talking about. Professor and I have been talking about a lot lately about how do we get on code as black folks, bro D? How do we get that back again? Huh? We get that back. Go ahead, Professor. I meant to say, bro D. Chime in on that real quick.
Well, the thing is that we have to shut our mouth when we do our coding system. We always got one Judas in the system that he's going to tell old master, and that's what be going on. They sit back and tell master.
Sambo and the mammy. The mammy
right,
and Sambo.
Right. And my grandmother, before she passed, she was rapping. She said, "Son, this is not new. Rap is not new. We rap in the field. That's how we communicate when the master was out there. We were rapping." I'm like, "What?" And my grandmama started rapping, man. And you talking about an 80-year-old woman can put the new rappers down, or even the old ones. They was rapping in the field. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new.
Nothing.
They took the thing that the knowledge that we had, which they considered no knowledge, and they prophesied. They made money off of it. And we gave all our information, all that technology to them again, and they make money off of it. Buzz Bunny is part of Bro Rabbit, the trickster, and which is the trickster. We was trickstering the masters. They didn't understand. You got to trick the fox. How you trick the fox? The fox is tricking itself. How you fool the bear? So we had a system to do that.
Correct. Professor, you want to chime in on that? Piggyback Brother D off of that real quick?
I've said in the past, Dr. Juice, when you talk about bringing up these historical stories and historical context and solutions that our ancestors had to use in order to survive in an environment that wasn't for their progress. And that's just yet another example of what they did, what we're going to have to do when you talk about being on code, and what we're going to have to develop as a people to survive and thrive for what's ahead of us. So that's a very unique opportunity, educational opportunity for us also to include in this platform these type of conversations and narratives of how our ancestors had to come up with strategies and tactics to move ahead. And that's what we're going to have to do. And that's what we're going to have to integrate into technology. That's the other part to that, right? We're going to have to look at, for instance, I always tell the story about the old black farmer and his mule and wagon, and how he did pretty good for a while. You know, he would take his goods to the market, him and his mule. He would talk to his mule. I would imagine his mule talked back to him, I guess.
But emotional attachment, huh?
Sir?
He had an emotional attachment to his mule, and he didn't want to progress into the future. He let the tractor.
Well, wait a minute now. Now, let's don't hop. Let's appreciate the mule was the mule for a black man was a great asset. Okay, the mule was a great asset. I would imagine that there were times when, as a slave, that mules were not available, and a mule was an upgrade. So I don't want to
All right, they
marginalize.
couldn't afford it. Right, they couldn't afford it at one point in
Right,
time.
I don't want to marginalize the fact that the black man had a mule before we jump off into technology. Okay, and I can understand. Imagine this for a minute. That first of all, that mule, he. I mean, would you rather pull the plow, or would you rather the mule to pull the plow if you was in that situation? Which one you want, bro?
Exactly.
All right. So the
Exactly.
mule had value, but with that, and he was passionate. The mule made him money. He was very attached to the mule. I would be attached to my mule too back then with my ancestors. But now we're living in a country where we have to roll and understand the technology. Now they're coming out with the gas powered mule. I guess that's what they call it. Before they call it a tractor. I would imagine that old black farmer called it a gas powered mule. And the man that had the gas powered mule, he was able to get his products and goods to the market twice a day. Now, the old black farmer, he looked at the situation, and the first problem that he had with the gas powered tractor is that he couldn't talk to it like he talked to his mule. That was a problem. And he was very passionate about that.
So,
Well,
so Professor, I see where you're going with this. Give me an example of the same mindset that modern day Black Americans have when it comes to transitioning or transforming into different technology industries and machinery. And how are we selling ourselves short because we don't want to be open? I see where you're going with this. And it's kind of the way we are right now. We don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't want to progress fast enough to where it can be economically feasible for us or economically beneficial for us.
I can
And
answer
that's
that.
kind of where we are now today. We don't want to accept the transformative nature of these technology tools, these smart tools. I mean, we do have the cell phone. Okay, so a lot of us have them, but we're not using the cell phone. We're not utilizing the technology in the capacity that it can perform.
I can
So
explain
give
that.
me an example of something that is that same example of what you're saying, transitioning in from the mule to the tractor and accepting technology and growing and progressing and becoming an economic empowerment society by us accepting and transitioning into the new technology. You get what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm kind of long-winded
No,
with this, but
I got you. Here we go. Here we go. No, I got you. That's why you have me. I got you. So, uh, you wanted me to stay on the topic of the case of the HBCU. So, since I'm a professor, I'll do that.
correct.
So, when you look at some of the institutions that were built by slaves, you have black schools like Morris Brown, Tuskegee, and what they did, they 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 built the schools mainly on the weekend, and they studied academics during the week. That's where you get the term scholar practitioner. Okay, that's pretty much the same methodology that I teach in internationally right now. The only difference is that my students are doing the same thing in terms of integrating the technology and the academics and the theory into the practical initiatives and projects. What you're having today is that at these HBCUs, black students don't have time for that because they're busy practicing their steps and their moves, and I'm not saying I mean that's part of it, but I am saying that if they balanced it and spent the same amount of time and energy, if they had the time in the technology, then that will make the difference. So that's why they're losing and other groups are winning, is because they're not putting the same energy into learning technology as they are their synchronized frat steps. And
They
how do they do
frat
that?
steps. They going to the HBCUs and them going to their rituals and
Did
moving
I
up
get
the
it?
chain of command in the Divine Nine platforms. And
Should I bark? Do you want me to bark? Match me,
no, don't
roof,
do
roof.
that. Don't do the bark.
Oh,
And
okay.
I hate that. I hate that damn Q dog. Who would call themselves a dog? Okay.
Well,
Hey, we're gonna come back to our comment section real quick
all
too. Hey, stay with us, y'all. Y'all stay
right.
with us. Stay with me. Stay with me in the comment section. I want to play something real quick to piggyback off of what Brother D was saying earlier about hip hop in the 50s. See if y'all can see this. Can you hear that, Brother D?
Nope. Can't hear it.
You can't?
No.
Uh-oh.
Can't hear it.
Okay. Let's see if I can.
Still can't hear it.
I was trying to place. Okay, let me see. I got it right here. Can you hear it now?
Can't. There we go.
Okay, like
Talk about rap in the 1950s, how we've been running hip hop. And I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Y'all stay with me. I'm going somewhere with this.
Reason why it's okay.
Just to show you how innovative our culture has been, especially when it comes to the arts, entertainment, music, hey, any type of communication. I'm going somewhere with this. Y'all bear with me. Now here go your modern school hip hop. I'm going somewhere with it.
I don't think you run. Some do run so fast. You can carry on. Way out. Lost I feel like a model view.
Hip hop honey right there.
I run.
one of them's and even got they got swagger to him. I'll show you.
Brother Bill said, but now you have to run to so as to say, couldn't get you all day.
I'll show you that these guys in the 40s and 50s were real hip hop, real hip hop.
If you want to hit that behind the rumble, don't listen to this. But like this.
I'm just show you sample it right now.
Okay. I hope I ain't get too far off subject, Professor. But I had to go back to what Bro D was saying. And I know you've been hearing about this whole Fat Joe thing out here in the media, right, Bro D?
Yes.
Fat Joe and a lot of these guys have been trying to say that they were the founders of hip hop.
Right.
Which they were not. That
They
is
were
a lie.
not.
They were part of hip hop, in the early stages, in the early beginnings, but they were not. And you got a lot of these, I call them tethers. And tethers are only immigrant people that look like us. They're black immigrants, but they try to work against us. They try to undermine us as black Americans. And they'll cosplay and get on board when it benefits them. But when it's okay, it's time for us to say, hold up, well, we're gonna have pride and we're gonna have dignity in who we are as black Americans, the founders of this. And matter of fact, you wouldn't even be over here if it was not for our struggle. So I had to play that real quick, bro D, because I wanted to point out the fact that how can you been a founder, and I just showed you a clip from the 1940s and the 1950s, am I right?
Right.
When black immigrants and certain immigrants were not even allowed in America at that time.
Right.
And you were not established enough in America to be the founders or the inventors of anything.
And so
So I
that's the
just had
same.
to point that out because it's a big thing going on with this Fat Joe. We call him. They call him. They got a nickname for him. They call it him Flab Joe. Flab Joe. That's the
Right.
little running joke we have in the foundational Black American community.
And,
Man,
and,
don't
and
come
this,
here trying to piggyback off us and try to steal and culture vulture our culture. You notice too. I'm gonna just say this, brother D, before you go ahead. Keep that right there. Keep that word. I'm gonna let you go. Fat Joe does not have a hit on his own. Every hit that Fat Joe has, he has collaborated with a black American on it. If you want to go lean back, what of them? You want to go all of them. He has no hits. He doesn't have a talented bone in his body. Go ahead, brother. I just had to put
right.
that out.
So, yeah, right. So, back to that Bro Rabbit, you can, well, right now, Walt Disney took all the Bro Rabbits off. They even taking the statues of Bro Rabbit off. And they're trying to erase the history of it. So, the movie that you can see it's called, it's on YouTube. It's called Coonskin. Now that movie is based off Bro Rabbit also.
Coonskin.
And Coonskin. It's on YouTube. Yeah, you can find that. That's Coonskin. So they're still playing. It's like a cartoon mix. It's
Now, kind of
it's
elaborate on that rabbit thing a little bit more, brother D. We had Professor give us a quick lesson. Now, you got to give us a quick lesson on what.
what I'm getting at, man, to
So
move up.
it's they imitating blackface is what they doing.
Well, they've
They call it
been
blackface.
doing that, but they're using our knowledge, man. How we trick the masters. So they learning how we trick the masters. And so now here these people think they are tricking the system, but they know your tricks. They know your tricks.
Wow.
They know your tricks. So now you have to understand why you can't move forward. Why I can't get a job? Why I can't do this? You know, I tried this way, I tried that way. Why can't not? Why? And that's in our people head. Why? I went to school. I finished high end science. I got a science degree, and I still can't get a job. What? Why? I pray every day. Why I can't do it? Why? And they're frustrated. So, but they don't understand what happens. It's happened before. And I'm trying to bring up what we have in our records that you can get to. And so when I pull up scriptures, people don't want to hear scriptures. They don't want to hear it. They can't. They don't understand because they haven't had the eye for it. They've been following the wrong master for so long that when you're trying to show them, like our people, we never celebrated Christmas. We didn't celebrate that. And what the new people don't understand, Christmas is the point of we losing and they having Mary and passing off gifts because they conquer us. That's Christmas. And our people, they've been tricked thinking about some Santa Claus, Santa Claus that that they getting something. And then back in the slavery time, they only got relief when it comes to that day holiday for that. But for us, is we should not celebrate that because when they use that's Mary is for our capture. They were happy. They didn't want to go through the laws that when our people had control of the world, because in the book from Babylon to Timbuktu, it explained the detail when our kings and queens was ruling. That's history. We have history books that we can say, okay, we can look at these books, and then when we go into Revelation chapter 11, it give you this descriptions about that. But if you don't have the eye to see it and the mind to understand it, because your head is stuck in Christian. You're a Christian. You do uh, Christmas. You do all day pagan holidays, and you wonder why you can't get nothing. You stuck in a loop. Those are not your holidays. That's their holidays. It's not yours. We before you became theirs, you had your own. I have Native American books of your own explaining that you had your own. You had your own. You had your own stuff. But you're not into your own anymore. You got a European mind. You think like a European. And so now you wonder why you can't be like a European.
Exactly.
So you got to break it. You got to break the spell. You got to wake up. And you know what that old song? Wake up, everybody. No more time to sleep in bed. You got to get up. That should be your theme music. You should have had that on your phone. When you get up, listen to that. Because you are in a state of war. You are not free.
Absolutely.
You're in a state of war.
Absolutely.
You need knowledge.
And like I say, that brings me back to the professor and I were talking today about so let's go some more of these comments. Mr. Stan the Man Live say, y'all live, huh, bro? We didn't get you, man. Send me your email, Stan, man. I'll start sending you a link, man, when we go live, bro, because we get sometime inspirational and we just go live, bro, and you have to be ready to tap in, bro. You know, this ain't for everybody. You know that, Stan, man. Mr. Goodbar say, and now Mr. Goodbar said, when you feed them your cookies, your data, they're dissecting your ingredients to your character. And that's what Mr. Goodbar said, Professor. He said, don't share your cookies to them. Stop spam calls and advertising that pertain to your liking. He's right about that. While surfing the internet or the common use of your cell phone. So how can we stop that, Professor, from these folks sharing our information when we don't want them to through the data?
Hey, Juice, excuse me for a minute.
And is that a good thing? What say, Brother D?
Juice, they want to please their masters. Look, master, look at me. It's the same thing. They want to please the masters. I'm a good dude.
Buck dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing, I call tap dancing. They like to put it.
It's the same formula. We going through the same thing. They just don't want to wake up. Well, go ahead, Professor. That's all I had to say with that. Go ahead.
You know, when you think about the psychology of marketing, and I've had to come to realize this as a business person and dealing with black folks. Um, Again, if they can't eat it, wear it, or drive it, they're not interested. So since they are interested in things that you can eat, things that you can drive, things that you wear, then when you put that type of carrot in front of them, they'll give up their mama for that, let alone date her. You know, so again, it's a mindset. You know, it's a mindset. It's a trick bag. I have no answers other than that's you know, is that the nature of black people? Is that environmental, or is that hereditary? Is that, you know, or is that genetic rather? Part of it's hereditary because we've been doing it for a while, but is it certainly is it the question because is it genetic as well? Um, Nevertheless, whether it's genetic or environmental, you're asking for a change, and it brings me back to what I originally said earlier, that adversity it's almost like any other animalistic behavior for us. Um, you're gonna have to be forced into change. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to change out of survival is what's gonna have to happen. You know, and that's not gonna look real pretty. But the ones who can adapt versus dying in that process, those are the ones who are gonna be successful. You know, you
Yes,
have
sir.
many examples to follow. I mean, you have other cultures that are winning, and how they winning. They're winning because they're focused on family, they're focused on their education, and they're focused on economic independence. That's what I found to be the winning formula when I look at other cultures who are winning. What you think about that, Dr. Juice?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, they have more family structure. They're more in tune to uh, functional families. I know that's one of your words you like to use, Professor. Professor, you say something about a lot of these church people are non-functioning or functionally illiterate, and having a family value and a family morality, moral compass, it helps to individuals that can be productive to their community as well as the nation. And so that's why I try to focus more so on the homeland. I'm proud to be a Black American. I'm just letting everybody know that I would never claim anything else. You got people like Dr. Umar. He around here trying to team up with a lot of these foreign people. I'll just leave it as that. And they want us to like turn our backs on our American heritage, man. Listen, we are the founders of this great place, this nation, man. I would never give up my heritage, give up my lineage, give up my culture. Even though, yes, we have a lot of dysfunction going on within our American community right now and Black American community. But listen, if we so horrible, why everybody trying to mimic us, bro D? Why everybody trying to be like us? Why everybody trying to dress like us? Why does everyone try to talk like us? If we so horrible, then just, let us be. But you fled your homeland to come here for a better life. So if it was so much better over there, you would be trying to get us to come there and set up shop. But you trying to come over here and set up shop. And I
Well,
understand that.
well,
Go ahead,
Juice.
buddy.
When you look at the European country, they have
Mm-hmm.
black kings on their wall.
Correct.
They got queens on their wall. But see, the Westerns, the
Yes,
West
sir.
people, the Western don't, the blacks here don't understand that.
Yep.
So why they got it on their wall, but
Right.
here they don't want to show us that we are powerful. They tell us we came from the jungle, we stupid, we walking around butt naked. You know, that's what they driven into their head, and plus their school system taught that also about wrong information. So that's one thing. It's up to you to wipe that clean out of you, because the churches, they ain't gonna do it, because they on 501(c), they on that, so they're gonna accept the money from the government. So they are not gonna help you with that. So you're gonna have to break the change and come to a platform, listen to your elders, because they've been telling you that for years. Listen to your elders. Listen to your elders. You want to go listen, you want to go outside somewhere. Everything's is inside. Everything's is inside. Once you understand something, when the false teaching that I have to use scripture again, when when Egypt was going through going through their issues with the Hebrews, they painted the pictures that the father was doing the plague, but which they don't understand. Moses has the power to do the plague. They 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 lied about that. But see, when you don't have the eyes and understanding how much power that you have, so they dumb you down. They dumb you down here. You are dumbed down. If you can open up your head and recognize how much power you got, you don't even worry about them. Me and Professor, we out here doing our thing. We don't worry about them.
Yes, sir.
When we go out, we ain't looking. We are not looking for a job from them. They stretching their head. We go to network. Everybody there looking for jobs. We ain't looking for no jobs. We looking for
Y'all
knowledge.
creating jobs.
We create. That's who we are. And you, all of the we creators, we are the true creators. So the prophecy is when Judah, Yehuda, arise from the west, they will turn the world. It's prophesied. So we are Judah here. So that's why they got to dumb you down. Make sure, because they don't want what we're going to turn the world back to. They want to have men on men, women on women, all this evil stuff. They don't want. They don't want what you think they want. That's what you see now. That's what they want. They want to do what they
Exactly.
want to do. And because we were growing up,
Offer all types of sodomy and
right?
just
So
dysfunction, and then black people are just accepting it. I mean, it's just so upsetting sometimes. I hate to even think about it and discuss
man,
it, man. It's
man,
just so
it's
sad.
disgusting because when the people from Africa come here, the continent. Whenever I say the continent, I don't know which part. The continent come here and they see us going through, and then they'll move ahead with us. And the same thing with migrants come here, and then they got the nerve to say, "Well, y'all been here. What happened? Why can't y'all progress? You are not Judah. That's why." And they know. We have one professor and I, we was at this Mexican restaurant. A Mexican came and sat next to me. He said, "Amigo, we waiting on y'all." I said, "Wait on us what? Y'all the one." But I said, "So you know it then."
Everybody know it except
Man,
us, man.
see?
That's sad, man.
So then I asked him
That's
this.
sad, man.
I said, "Why are you not supporting us?" He said, "What you mean?" I said, "Who are you hiring? Who are you hiring?" I said, "When I go out, I
That is
just see
sad.
all your people working together. You don't hire us. You don't try to attempt to help in
Wow.
the progress. You can help, but you the same one talking about us.
Wow.
The continent coming over here, they talking about us. And then you're gonna put your foot on our neck too.
Wow. Wow. Hey, bro D. But listen, guys, this has been a great conversation. We're gonna piggyback off of that. That's gonna be our next conversation, D. Let's go live tomorrow. Let's go to live because Sunday is usually my day. Let's go live and we're gonna further break this down and dissect this thing for the family.
Well, I hope the viewer can see. They can go on YouTube and see coon skin. I hope you can pull that up to show them. You know, they're still playing. They haven't.
Yeah, I pulled it up. I had it playing in the background.
You know, they haven't blocked that yet. But
I put the link too also in the chat section just now.
Right.
For the family.
Just take your time and
it's in the chat section.
It's what 70s. But this information, you when you see it, you got to understand who the fox, who the bear. You got to use this. You got to use this. See what's going on.
We're gonna definitely we're gonna chop this up further, and I'm gonna do a special on that whole thing with Fat Joe and how they're trying to hijack the culture of Black Americans, the original, the modern day Israelites. You might as well say it. And we're gonna do a whole show on that, D. But tomorrow we're gonna give them we're gonna scrub the surface of just give them a little bit of narrative on where we're trying to get them to see and understand and where we're trying to go with this whole thing. We gotta walk into our destiny. We already are the chosen people, and so we have to accept. We gotta accept our advocacy. We gotta start accepting our lineage and our bloodline. It's ours. It's ours for the encouragement, for the enhancement, and we're allowing all these other people to come in and piggyback off of us and steal and hijack. I call it culture vulturing.
Right, because see, our people now, they don't know who the fox is. They don't know who the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, our identities are lost, man. We don't even know, and they don't understand that's a part of why we're suffering. A part of why we're suffering is because we don't understand and we don't know how to identify. And so that's why we around here identifying as all these false prophecies and these false cultures, and everybody else is just stealing our heritage. But we're gonna finish that up, D. We definitely that's a big conversation, D. We're gonna finish that up. Professor, salute. Hey, salute.